I also consider it a great honor and a huge responsibility, and I pray that God will assist me in achieving it. Because for a long time, my role as a Relukuti of Lagos, makes me mother of kings, because if you know the history, the Relukuti the first crowned herself as Queen of Lagos, but also crowned her two sons. The same day, removed her crown, gave it to one of the sons, and gave another title to the second son, one as Oba of Lagos. And she sat in the middle and ruled Lagos with them till she died. And that makes her, and since that time, it's been her descendants for over 400 years who have been kings of Lagos. So it makes her mother of kings. And my title, Erelukuti, makes me mother of kings, not mother of the king, but mother of kings. And so I've had to play that role of being mother to kings for a long time, you know, because everybody who now join Lagos as Lagos State now benefits from that singular action of Erelukuti, because that has become the law of the states, that any sons of a female member of royalty can become king of Lagos, as opposed to just from father to son and ad infinitum. But now, a son of a female member of royalty, you can be king of Lagos. And it affects any kingdom that has come together under the umbrella of Lagos State. So that is the role I've been playing for Obas and people of Lagos State. But now it's much more significant in the sense that I have a greater platform to perform the same role as mother of kings and the Yodua of the source of Yoruba race, mother of crowned heads of the Yoruba race. It's an enormous responsibility. It's huge, and it's beyond Africa. It's bigger than Africa, because Yoruba race spreads all over the world. You have them in Haiti, in Brazil, in Cuba, the Caribbean, you know. So the responsibility now is to take up the mantle, to add value to those territories and add value to the core Yoruba race of Nigeria. And one can't do that in isolation. It means the whole country, the whole community will benefit from these values that one is expected to add to the lives of the people of the race. It's daunting, but with the grace of God, one will give it a good run. We'll do our best to make it work. As you said, it's I thank God that His Imperial Majesty deemed it fit to accord me this honor and this opportunity and this responsibility. And I shall do my best, to the best of my ability, to live up to His trust and the confidence. Of course, it was the wonderful woman, wife of our late sage, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Chief Mrs. H.I.D. Awolowo, held this position before me, and everybody agrees that she did a wonderful job, and she was larger than life, and enjoy all the adulation of the position, and in her own way also added value to the position. It is most opportune that this that I am conferred with this title at this point in time, because one of the core duties of that position is to maintain comradeship, peace, cordiality amongst Yoruba race and the people they live with. And you know, in our country at this point, there's a whole lot of dichotomy manifesting itself within the communities. So this is something that, you know, I believe one could start with, forging peaceful coexistence and relationship amongst the people of the polity. Well, first of all, you know, when you hear a news like that, the import of it doesn't sink in yet. It's even till now, it's still sinking in the enormity of the position, the demand, because it means, like KBC also said, your door must be opened for all sons and daughters of Yoruba race, and that can be an easy task. It means you just have to be there for them, you know, in their joys, in their sorrows, in their whatever situation they find themselves. You should be able to identify with them, and then, well, one can only pray for the grace of God to be able to do it well. It just keeps sinking in gradually. But I felt humble though by the time I heard and I got the letter. I felt humbled because Yoruba women are in millions, not only in Nigeria, anywhere in the world, that anyone could be deserving of this position. And when, you know, it falls on you, and it seems like it was a natural thing, from the ovation, the congratulatory messages from different people, like it was like a round hole in a round peg. Yeah. So I felt very humbled that I did what I was doing, enjoying what I was doing, and I did it because I felt it was something I had to do. Well, KBC first told me about this last Christmas, and at that time we said, oh, maybe we will do the coronation. We'll start the process because it takes a long time in March. And then, due to one thing or the other, we couldn't get it going. I think all this preparation must have taken about, what, 2 to 3 months. But I guess I'm a very fastidious person. And every aspect, every group, every committee that put this together, I was on top of it, to be sure that everything worked like clockwork. I never leave things to chances, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. I may be having a thought or an idea of how I want things to be, and the interpreter may have a totally different concept. So I had to be there to monitor how my concepts are being interpreted. So I guess that perhaps is one of the reasons why it came out the way we want it to be. Yeah, but it didn't take longer than 3 months to do all of this. And of course, you know, KBC himself played the role, a very, very prominent role, especially the Ife end of it. I mean, everything was impeccable, and he was on top of that. Everything really, really went well in Ife. Considering we did it over days, but every step, everywhere that we had to go to, or whatever we had to do, everything went like clockwork. I think, you know, between the two of us, we were on top of things, and that was the result. And our main signature is water, and I also live by water, so I always like to have water around. So that was my concept, and I actually commend the event planner for actually achieving it, because she too she felt daunted, and she didn't think she could do it, but with encouragement and all that, I said, I want it. Well, you know, I was still groping, well, not groping in that, because I was still doing what I do, trying to enhance the life of the poorest of the poor, still enhancing my vocational center, still doing, but you know, I'm more or less in semi-retirement, and I was really groping in the dark about what do I really want to focus on at this point in time with, you know, reduced energy and all that. And then of course this came, and this just gives me a totally new platform. It's like a rebirth in my love for my people, for the people, because this I can add value to the economy. I can go round Yoruba race to attract investment into the polity. I can devote my energy in conflict resolution, and that abounds here. That I have done in the past, but I have a bigger platform with which to continue to do reconciliation, enlightenment, in peaceful coexistence, and and energizing other people to add values to the life of the deprived. You can interface in encouraging women to come out, give them support, and be counted, because you have in abundance equal numbers of women and men who can take Nigeria to the next level. But we can also achieve that by electorate education, awareness of their rights, awareness of how they can protect their rights. As long as we are aware of what to do, how to protect our rights, the money bags will continue to control the political arena. But they don't have to. They don't have all the might or the right to do so. If you are talking about, if the people in their numbers, it's the game of numbers. If people in their numbers says, this is our right and we want to protect it, you find that well-meaning, sincere people will come up for elections and they will take Nigeria to the next level. But we ourselves must be determined to protect our interests, protect our votes, make our votes count, follow the law. Unless we follow the law also, people will continue to take advantage of the law and make the law work for us. If you say you cannot manually count votes, then you don't manually count votes. You have to transmit it electronically, you must transmit it electronically. And if anybody is trying to cut it away or count it manually, the people must rise up and protect that vote and make sure it does not leave that venue until they have the electronic result. We will make a difference. Then the best man will win. And why would you want to vote for a corrupt person? Why do you want to vote for a recycled politician who's been guilty of so many wrongdoings over time, which we know, but because they are money bags, we become a captive audience. But if we rise up in numbers and we want to support what is good, nobody can thwart it. No politician is strong enough to thwart it. But the people, are we ready? But I think we're ready because there is a whole lot of enlightenment going on. There's a whole lot of awareness among the youth. And they are more in numbers. If they come out, identify who is good for them, and they want to vote for that person and stand by their votes, we will make a difference overnight. All that seems so hopeless can change overnight if we vote right and choose the right people and defend it. So for me, my plea is to the right-meaning Nigerians, to the youth in their masses, to come out and vote, but stand there and protect their votes and make sure that their votes count. And the only way it can count is you don't allow anyone to manipulate the votes. Electronically, if you send it to where it's supposed to be, it's going to be difficult for anyone to change the results. So we need to rise to the occasion. Well, I told Kabesi I'm going to hit the ground running. And the first line of supporters of Yeye Oodua will be the Yeye Oodua Amazon. I've already identified strong achievers among women. Brilliant achievers, exposed, forward-looking women. At least 20 we have had, and we're meeting in a couple of weeks. Yes. Okay. Not just Yorubaris, even those who are not Yoruba. I've picked a few who are not Yoruba, because at the end of the day, when we bring this value here, all peoples, regardless of their tribes and creed or religion, will benefit from it. So we still need the advice of those who are not even from Yorubaris to be part of Yeye Oodua Amazing, because we want the advice to be holistic, complete, and meaningful and beneficial to everyone. I think we're going to let our work speak for us. we will group, we will think tank, we'll come up with a strategy, and when we start achieving, we will make noise, and you will see us. If I actually have a specific secret, I think I will not only be the richest in Nigeria, I'll be the world. Thanks to Almighty God, who had made my parents beautiful for them to produce me to be what I am. But you know, you have to maintain some basic practice of sustaining what God has endowed you with. And you sleep when you are supposed to sleep, you eat right, you don't do anything in excess. Moderation is the key. You observe all the normal protocol of decent living and all the known beauty routines. And of course cleanliness is part of it. And they tell you drink lots of water, you eat you eat right, and you don't overeat. You don't to maintain your stature. I mean, it's a struggle, continuous struggle. But you've got to do it in moderation. You can't say because I like this sort of food and will go overboard with it. Of course, the result is obesity. So it's just being aware of yourself and what makes you healthy, and you continue to do it. And if there's a misgiving, you get to the bottom of it, correct it, and leave the rest to God. I just believe moderation and being aware of yourself is one of the main keys of enjoying a good well-being. Yes, that is a big issue. It's really a big issue. You know, women, we don't appreciate what God has done for us. He made us naturally beautiful. Every single woman is made beautiful. All you need to do is enhance that beauty. And you enhance that beauty, cleanliness, exercise, eating right. When a woman eats right, in moderation, you observe a certain degree of cleanliness, of cleanliness and perseverance, because you have to persevere to look beautiful. It's not instant. You find that your skin will glow, your face will be beautiful, and you will be naturally beautiful. That's why you have makeup. If you want to enhance it a bit, you can always enhance what you look like, but not to disfigure your appearance, just to enhance it. And you find that you are more endearing to the opposite sex, or even to other sex like you, whether other women or men, because everyone should look good, including men, because you are exposed to the views of other human beings, and you should not be an eyesore. You should give joy to people with your appearance. So when you start interfering with it, then you're having problems. Because if you bleach, for how long? Especially when they are starting so young. By the time they get to our age, they would have bleached off several layers of the skin, so the wrinkles become pronounced, then the discoloration will become pronounced, and at the end of the day, you have no skin left to bleach. And then, of course, you will end up wearing very heavy makeup. And when you wear heavy makeup, it looks plasticky. So you are not attractive to anybody. If you think you are attractive, you are not. So what we should do is, yes, you can enhance what you look in a moderate way, but not excessively as to destroy the top layers of your skin. And then a lot of people develop cancer through that. And by the time they add foreign objects, I call them foreign substance, and inject it into their body, you destabilize the makeup of your body. Then you are destroying the inside. Then if you are bleaching from inside, you are bleaching all your intestine, which are very fragile, which it cannot be seen, so you don't need to bleach it. But then when you do that, you destroy it. And then you end up with all kinds of ailments that are, in most cases, incurable. So, you know, if we all, if you're dark, you're made dark, but you can enhance it and you look beautiful by your diet. So you drink lots of water, you make sure that your system is cleaned and washed out regularly, you eat what is right, you have the right diet, you do it in moderation, you exercise regularly, you sleep enough, you get enough sleep, and you just observe a habit of cleanliness, both within and outside. The most ugly person will look beautiful to the eyes looking at her. And I don't think God made anybody ugly. It is what you do with it. Okay, if somebody is deformed, it's different from looking beautiful. Even you have people who have deformation, but who live well. They still look attractive. That's how other people marry them, because they are attractive to the beholder. But when we do excessive, harsh things just to make a statement, the repercussion is never good. And it is manifesting itself in the lives of some of these young people. That's adding foreign body into your system. It could be even contaminated from foreign body. I mean, if you say because you have a ball, you want to have a big board, and then you add fat, are you sure that fat is not contaminated? How do you know that that kind of fat is conducive or can be accepted by your own constitution? It's also risky, and I wonder what it's all about. For me, my advice to the young people is to say, look, you can be just as beautiful the way you are. You just need to do things in moderation and take good care of yourself. You will bloom and you will blossom, and you will enjoy beautiful skin, beautiful hair, and you will have beautiful figure if you don't overeat. So what else is the beauty of a woman? What they are struggling to artificially achieve, they can achieve it naturally. And it will be sustainable. And it will keep them healthy. So that would be my advice. Try to be a bit more natural in the way you sustain your human person. You see, I'm quite excited. What I would say that in the world, I would say Lagos was younger. I enjoyed the younger Lagos, the more innocent Lagos, where life was beautiful. You were not always looking over your shoulder. You had plenty to eat. People who first came here imbibed that beautiful omeko of habit of live and let live, and sharing what they have, being their brother's keeper, being parents to all children, not just your own, because you can chastise a child that's wayward or misbehaving, and the parents will thank you for it. You know, the world was beautiful. It was a closely knit community. It wasn't that it was small; it was big, but we all imbibed the same.
There was security
the same culture all over, of course. You know, we had a good life. The security, we didn't have fences in front of our houses, not to talk of iron bars and iron rods. You know, even things in the market were never excessively priced. And everyone, if you price something here, you know the next 10 groups will tell you the same amount. And if somebody is not there, you know the price. You leave the money there, you take your whatever you want, and when she comes, her money will be there. That big Sangros market, that is what it was. You know, people were honest, people were kind to one another. You had all the big markets. You have Ereko market, you have Ebutero, you have Jankara, you had Balogun. All these markets have always been there. But you knew they were usually clean. People cut away their rubbish at the end of the day. In fact, we even had sanitary inspectors that will go and check that you have left your environment clean. If you are not, you are charged to court or you are made to pay a fine. Even where you have houses built with corrugated iron, they were still clean. You don't say a place is clean because it's for poor people. Everyone was the same, treated the same way. Your environment must be clean. Nightlife was buoyant. We could go out, especially when we were now teenagers and just newly married. You had Bobby Benson in Ikeja, and some of us who live on the island, or we will go there. You don't even start going until after midnight. Wow. You may even come back about 6 a.m., especially when it's weekend. And you are not afraid of being on the streets at that point in time. You feel safe. And we had a beautiful nightlife. The kind of nightlife we had, they don't have it anymore. I'm a die-hard optimist. And like I said, if we have the right government in place, and we have economic buoyancy, and people are satisfied, there'll be less of crime, there'll be less insecurity, yes, we can have a good time again. But this time, even better. Because there are various ways of having a good life. Having a good life, having a nightlife, having education, and it's insecurity and lack of economic empowerment that is creating a lot of this problem. But all of that can change overnight if you put the right person at to direct the affairs and governance of this country, who are meaningful, who have love of mankind in their hearts, and who believe in live and let live, not wanting to cut everything away for himself and his generation unborn. Leave the coming generation to do their own thing. If you create a conducive atmosphere, a level playing ground, where the economic is buoyant, roads are good, education is top class, people have food to eat, they want to go into business, they can, they want to go into manufacturing, is sustainable, the generation unborn will make even more progress, because they'll be empowered with good education and innovative ideas. But when you have these narrow-minded leaders who just believe that survival is stealing and storing it for the generation to come, we're not going to go anywhere. We'll just be going round in circle, because there'll be no new investments, no new ideas, and they steal this money. There's limits to the extent they can flaunt it, and they're not investing it in anything that will yield. So even the money too would finish eventually. So the youth of Nigeria and well-meaning Nigerians, make sure this election works. Make sure this election produce strong, well-meaning leaders that will put the fear of God into everything they do, and the love of the people in their heart. And if they do all of these things, they are the ones who will benefit the ovation of the people, and they will even reap much more returns than just cutting the little money, and people are raining abuses and curses on them. So I just pray that good people will come out and they would carry the day. I'm not worried about bloodshed. I don't think it will get to that. I believe there is enough awareness of what good governance means, what good leader means, amongst the majority of the people, or most especially among the youth. They know what good governance is. A lot of them are highly educated. They know what they need to make progress in life. And they are confident, they are educated, and they are confident, and they are not afraid to let their views known. What I'm just begging for and advocating is that they must all go out en masse and vote and vote the person they believe will take them to the next positive level, not wrong change. Because when you say change, we all said change, thinking it was to take us to a positive level. What we want now is someone to take us to the positive level. And they know what it is. They know what they want. It's a pity, yes, we don't have too much choice. But whatever we have, let us make the best use of it. Whatever we have on the ground, let us take out the most positive part of it that will impact positively on us. And the young people know it. At the end of the day, whatever is wrong or whatever is not acceptable becomes enemy of all peoples of Nigeria, regardless of religion, of tribe, or affiliations or whatever. All of us should look inward. What is best for us? And be bold enough to go out there and make that choice. And stand by that choice. And stand by that vote. And make sure that that vote counts. It is possible. It can be done. But it's a game of number, and enough people must stand up and pull together to defend that they believe will take us to the next positive level. If you want to continue to play the money back game and all that, well, we know where it has landed us. Yeah. And we just continue to rot in the hole where we have dug for ourselves. It is time for the young people who are beneficiaries of great education, great opportunities, the electronic age that we are living in, all the systems that make things work and make things better. You should take advantage of it and not wallow in the filth that we've been enjoying for so long from recycled leaders. We must stop recycling leadership. We must let new ideas come into leadership. And this can only happen with young people having opportunity to use their hard-earned, acquired exposure, education, imagination that can take us to the next level. I don't believe in defeatist attitude. I have told you that this thing, when we're ready as Nigerians to put in place good governance, yes, you may have money, but numbers are bigger than money. If you say truly, people truly believe that what we've been experiencing is not good enough, it's not taking us anywhere, and we want a change that can take us to the next positive level. And the young, like you said, they're all aware, keenly aware, and they want a change. If you have enough numbers saying that this is what we want, and somebody brings money, he will not even dare to bring the money. Because if you have enough numbers of people standing up for what is good, how many are they going to buy? And even if they have enough money to buy everybody, but if that is not our priority, they will snub him and his money, or they will take his money because it is our commonwealth, and they will still do what is right. I was watching Osun election, and I saw a woman in particular, not a woman, group of women. They took their Igbo and tied on their waist and said, "You are not taking this box of votes away from here. If we have been told it has to be sent electronically, you are not supposed to cut it away to be counted manually, and nobody will take it away from there." It was on the news. I don't know whether it was channel or whatever it was. And these women stood firm, and they could not cut that box away. Perhaps if they had been able to take that box away and they counted it manually, the result would have been different. But they stood. How am I sure that those women too were not part of those who collected money from the opposition? But they believed in what would be good for them, and they stood by it. So if truly the youth believe, truly, that they want a change, they will stand by the votes and protect it. Because unfortunately, by the way systems work, you have to have gone through primary, you have to be appointed to run for president. So from what we have on the table, let them decide which is best for them and vote for it and stand by it. Let us all, you are saying it, I'm saying it, you are saying it. So let us stand by what we believe in, not just playing lip service. Because if all of us like this group up, we are a nation of over 200 million people. If just 50 million say we want to vote and want to stand by the vote and want to protect the vote, we will make the change that we want. So that should be our campaign. You believe, just stand by what you believe will make the difference and take you to the next positive level. And if enough of us believe in one group and we stand by it, we will make the change. That's why I'm saying that, everybody thinks that the situation in Nigeria is hopeless. I don't believe it's hopeless. I believe it can change overnight. We just need to put the right people there and protect it. And even when they are there, we must not just sit back. We must continue to monitor them and protect our own interests. Because we put people there as presidents, as ministers, not to go and do their own will, but to do our own will. So when they are there and they are going wrong and we keep quiet, go to other parts of the world. People, once their leader misbehaves, they are on the street protesting, making them aware, peaceful protestation, not violent, so that the government itself will sit right and say, the people are not going to tolerate this nonsense. But we will become, once we vote somebody in, we go and sit down. Even the opposition go pack up and go and sit down and become complacent. Well, two things. One, we have equal numbers of capable women as we have of men. So we are not short of deserving women who can lead this country to wherever we want it to be, to the very heights, to make it the best in the world. So if women, capable women are interested, they should be bold and brave enough to come out. Us women must learn to support, give out. Without the votes of women, these men who are leading cannot get there. So if you find a capable woman, you believe in the woman, you must vote for other women. You must encourage them. We don't support ourselves enough. So women must support women once she's capable. You don't support a man just because he's a man. When you find a man, you find two other women who are just as good or even better. If they come out and women see that they are good, women must support other women. And having said that, women, elected women, women who are in position of authority, policy making and all that, when they get there, you find a normal, beautiful, competent woman put in a position of authority. Once she gets there, overnight, she tries to turn herself into page 3 woman. Overdressing, wearing too much jewelry, things that she didn't have before, the way she didn't look before. She now prides herself above the people who put her there. And I've had women say to me, when I said, look, you've got to vote for other women, they said to me, look, you wear white. When you come to us, you hug us, you play with us. Some of these women, once they get to those positions, they treat us other women like dirt. They make themselves inaccessible. At least the men will still listen to you and give you a pittance to go and pay school fees for your children. That the women, you cannot even reach them. They are inaccessible. So that's why we don't like to support women. This is what the generality of the women tell me. Market women, officer of women, they tell me the same thing. So we need to enlighten ourselves about how we should behave and be supportive of the people and remember why we have been voted into a place. Not to turn ourselves into pin girls, but to assimilate and be like the people who have put us there. In fact, that's when we should tone it down so that they find that we are accessible, we are reachable, and they can give us support. It's the grace of God, the way He's made me. I think God gave me a disposition that prepared me to accept the norm of my birth. My mom is also from Egbalaki, from the royalty of ERELU. So she too came up with a stiff upper lip and then married, of course, to my father, who is the Prince of Lagos. So our upbringing was very tight, very disciplined. You know, especially when you follow even if when you are not royalty, the norm of old days of a Yoruba family is that you have to be prim and proper and remember the son of who or the child of who you are, and the name of the family is imperative that you keep it intact and all that. And when you are royalty, it's even worse. So you are taught to observe a certain level of decorum in everything you did. And you couldn't step out of line. You couldn't do what your mates do. You have to be above board. And so by the nature God gave me is inquisitive. I love people. I want to know. And I want to learn. So it wasn't difficult for me to imbibe some of these qualities. And then, so it sort of prepared me for the roles that are now found entrusted upon me in the course of life. So therefore, I like to share, I like to give, I like to know, and I never feel that I have all the answers. I like to hold my own ground, but I will yield to a superior argument. And what you are also taught as royalty is you are there by the grace of God, but your main and primary duty is to take care of your people. And when you have to do that, you have to identify with them. You have to be with them. You have to understand their plights. You have to understand their problems. Or else, if you stay on your high horse, how do you have to solve such problems? So I have no inhibition about feeling at home anywhere I find myself. Either in the Buka or the 5-star hotel, or in a palace, or in a house in Ajegule. I'm happy wherever I find myself, and I'm at home wherever I find myself, and I'm happy to be with anybody, regardless of class, creed, religion, or tribe. Sometimes people ask me, how do you cope with Christianity or traditional? Why should I not be able to combine? Because all religion, they all aspire and pray to one almighty God. That's the basis of the Yoruba tradition and culture. The Olodumare, the Almighty, the supreme being. And the Catholic religion that I practice, that's the tenet of that, the Almighty God, who was good, who was kind and benevolent enough to send us His Son to come and salvage us and bring us back to Him, from being sinners back to the Almighty God, to the favor of the Almighty God. And I'm sure my grandmother, on my mother's side, was a devout Muslim who went to Hajj in those days where it takes 3 months on a camel and donkeys and all that. Very devout. And I grew up at her feet, watching her every Friday with at least 50 women, all sit down together, commune together, eat together, and pray and sing to the Almighty God, interceding. You know, so for me, that's my understanding of religion. And because mine is African, mine is Nigerian, it's not inferior to any other person's religion, as long as it is practiced in sincerity and honesty, in the most pious way, reaching out to the Almighty God, the Supreme Being, the creator of heaven and earth. So that is my belief. But I also believe, of course, that in every religion you have those people who use religion to do evil. You have it in every religion. You have those who use the cross the wrong way, you have those who use the Bible the wrong way, and you have those people who use the traditional religion in a negative way. But that is not who we are. That is not our religion. Our religion is the fear of the Almighty God and the worship of the Almighty God. And you have intercessors, like in the Catholic Church. When we kneel in front of a statue, we are not worshiping the statue. It just conjures the image of that intercessor that we believe is enjoying the favor of the Almighty God, and are saying, please intercede for us to the Almighty God, for us also to be favored. And you have it in every religion too. Yeah. So I am not confused about my religion and about who I am. Well, I don't know, because I still believe in the younger generation. Because I have my children, and I know who their friends are. They have friends across tribes, because that is the culture of Lagos. We grew up with everybody from different parts of Nigeria who settled in Lagos, and we all interacted. And in each family you have Christians, you have Muslims, you have traditionalists, and we are still family. We still do things together. We still coexist together. If only you can imbibe what we do in Lagos. I used to say that people didn't imbibe the quality of life you found in Lagos. If what's life in Lagos, and the people who came to settle in Lagos, and they imbibed the life they found in Lagos, if they have transported it back to where they came from, this country would have been a happier place. Because till today in Lagos, basically, we still enjoy religious harmony. We all have friends across the board. So even there is hope. But you see, you have older generation. I'm not blaming it on the young people. The young people, they're all friends with one another. But older generation, because they want to recycle themselves, they have to employ all kinds of instruments to continue to perpetuate themselves. So they introduce tribal disharmony, religious disharmony. It's just from selfish people. Basically, the average Nigerian will want to coexist, at least in Lagos, that I know, peacefully with one another. And we have succeeded in maintaining peace in Lagos by imbibing and coexistence with all diverse people who live here. If we can transport it to other parts of Nigeria, we'll be better off. And a lot of people have passed through Lagos. They've seen how we live. But I can tell you that it's the evil-minded people who are whooping up these sentiments of religion, of tribe, just for their own selfish interest. If we remove that, the average Nigerian will be happy to live with his brother and sister in other places. But when you have the selfish people, if that's what it takes for them to achieve what they want, they will whoop up all these sentiments. And they will incite the young people through monetary incentive, through drugs, through availability of drugs, for them to get involved in wrongdoings. The last week we've been talking about invasion of Lagos. They're using young people. It's because they've been brainwashed. They're making drugs available for them. They're making people who are deprived, who do not know where the next meal is coming from, a little sum of money, they can excite them into doing the wrong things. But the average young person, what does he have against another human being? Unless they adult is adulterating his mind. The selfish adult who wants to achieve power at all costs is now using this. Their own children are not here. Go and look at the rank and file of those young people perpetrating this wrongdoing. You will not find children of this elitist group amongst them. So then it means these people are being conditioned to be violent through the selfish means. You know, many years ago, the area boys syndrome came into existence. In Lagos, we didn't know what area boys, we didn't even have area boys. They were not in existence. But then there was one election. It was the local government election in Lagos. And you had already started having infiltration of money bags at that time. So they got together a few young people and used them to terrorize the electorate so that they could carry the day. And after using these boys, at the end of the election, they wanted to dismantle them. But you see, they had already gotten used to getting pittance. Where they didn't work, they were able to get extra money to do whatever they wanted to do. So we couldn't get rid of the area boys anymore. And you know that they are a permanent feature on the horizon now. So what the advice is, we shouldn't start what we cannot control. For whatever reasons the money bags had to create this kind of people because they want to win election, they cannot take the reason back now, because those people have been created and they are in existence. Because money bags spoil them with money. People who have never been able to earn 30,000 a month from sheer hard work, now they can earn it at an instance. How do you expect such a person to go back home and stay quietly? Of course, he's going to now form the rank and file of bootlickers for the politicians. And unfortunately, as they grow in numbers, and you don't have enough politicians to engage them, they start migrating to other areas where they think they can. And you know, people in Lagos are kind. They will give beggars, they give miscreants, anything. And so they continue to come here. But then, when they now become too many and you don't have enough people giving hands out, they consider themselves into a nuisance and robbers. That is what is going on. I will go back again to good governance. When you have good governance, where there is enough jobs, enough to eat, economic buoyancy. If you can't get an office job, you can go into entrepreneurship. You can have welfare packages. We have enough resources in this country to be able to give welfare packages to those who are not fruitfully engaged. If you have welfare packages, you can create jobs, you can add values to the lives of these people. The numbers will begin to reduce. But right now, everything in a state of comatose. And that group is being augmented by new entrants into poverty, orchestrated and brought other groups in to scuttle that wonderful, peaceful demonstration. In which case, my personal opinion is that those people who planned that peaceful protest should have realized that there are other youths who are not as well off as they are, and they should have packaged them into that mass movement. If they package them into that mass movement, after all, they had lots to eat, lots to drink, if they had packaged those people into that movement, and within those periods, they too have enough to eat, they have hope, they believe that this process is about their own emancipation and is for their own good, nobody would have been able to use them to scuttle that positive movement that we saw among the youth. And those who did it, I hope they have learned a lesson. That if they ever had to do that again, they have to package all diverse kind of youth in existence and move them into that same fold, so that their language will be the same and their rank and file will be strong enough to get the message down to those who are perpetuating wrongdoing and giving wrong governance to this country. Unfortunately, there was that loophole, and those enemies of progress took advantage of it. It's not the youth who did it. They took advantage of the deprived young people and misused them to scuttle the well-meaning program of the youth at that point in time. Of course, the first military governor of Lagos State was Mobolaji Johnson, and he was also a Lagosian. So the beautiful life of Lagos continued, because obviously as a Lagosian, we all know him. His parents were here, we know his compound. So he couldn't afford to do the wrong thing. He couldn't afford to just sit down there and start stealing money. In fact, this culture of stealing money was not in existence at that time, because we all grew up with the culture of good education. After that, you take a job and you do it well, and there is a process of being successful. You have to work for a certain period before you get a car. You have to work for a certain period before you're able to build a house. And you have to work to a certain period before you retire. But by the time you retire, you have all the perks and paraphernalia of a good life. Not excessive good life, but good life, to earn you respect within the community. And you are looked upon as somebody who has worked hard, who has achieved in life, and you enjoy respect from all and sundry. And as a young person, that's what we look up to. That's what we want to emulate. If you suddenly came up with a car when you are not supposed to have a car, the whole of everybody will ask you how you got it, and you have to be able to explain it. If it is through dubious means, it's not you who is even disgraced. Your whole family is disgraced. So people were very careful and cautious of how they conduct themselves. I think this process of wanting to appropriate what belongs to everybody started from when we started having failed elections. The first set of elections, good people, educated people came out and ran for election. But after a due process and fair election, you get appointed. Within months, it's scuttled. So by the time we're ready and serious to have an election that will be sustainable, good people didn't come out anymore. And you had all kinds of thugs and all kinds of people came out to participate in election. People without adequate education, people without pedigree, people whom you don't even know where they are coming from. So if they are guilty of anything, they don't care. It doesn't affect their families, it doesn't, So there was no deterrent. So people got into election and they see that, wow, this is like just here. And within 3 months, people who had only one briefcase, a couple of shoes and suits, they started living high life. And there was nobody to call them to order because there was no one to report them to. And people like that kept recycling themselves for a long time until they polluted the polity, that even when people started joining in, they had no choice. You either join them or you stay out. But good times can still come again. No, I actually find it quite exciting and quite interesting. Because you wear one color and you don't want to be an eyesore to everyone or be displeasing to people who are looking at you. So I realized that I have to vary it. Even if it's one color, I need to vary the style, I need to change the way it's adorned, I need to have varieties. And so that keeps me on my toe also, to keep coming up with new ideas and new concept of white. So I find it exciting, and I do hope that I've been able to keep the people looking at me also interested, not finding it boring, so I interpret it in so many different ways, and my only consolation that perhaps I'm not, or confirmation that I'm not boring anyone, is that I have seen that I have a whole lot of followers who also imbibe some of my dress sense and style, and also in white. So, it gives one confidence that perhaps one is doing something right, and you just continue to reinvent it and make it interesting and exciting. Marriage is a beautiful state to be in, and that's also the way it's been ordained. All peoples, man, woman, should strive to find a life partner to enhance their lives. And when you are able to achieve that, it's a great thing, it's a good thing, and it defines both the man and the woman, because they are supposed to be helper to each other. It's not one-sided. I think, I don't know, maybe also through culture, we have lost that understanding that marriage is not one-sided. You're both together to enhance the lives of each other, and to the point that both of you are woven into one, and one cannot do without the other. It's not, marriage is not that the man, without the man you cannot exist, or without the woman you cannot exist. You are two strangers who have agreed to come together and add value to the lives of each other. And if along the line you feel you've made a mistake, you need to be able to stand up to it. It does not take away from who you are, because you are a special made creation of the Almighty God, who has endowed you with so much talent and opportunity to be whatever He wants you to be in life. Because there are some people who are not opportune to marry. That should not stop them from attaining the best that they can be, or utilizing the talents the Almighty has given them to be the best they can be. So if anyone thinks that, oh, you cannot exist alone without a partner, that's indolence. That's hiding, that's laziness, hiding behind marital status. You have seen great women, great achievers, who never even got married. Forget marrying and divorce or separation. Who never actually did. So anybody who is hiding behind marriage for not being recognized for who they are is from indolence. It's petty excuses. Because a fastidious, outgoing person of excellence can only be a joy to the husband, or husband a joy to the wife. If you are a person of excellence and an achiever, it will speak for you. It will give you a space within the environment. So when a woman says that, don't take her seriously. And if somebody wants to be beaten to death and all that, it's sheer out of indolence and laziness. Because if you discover along the line that perhaps I made a wrong choice, you can agree to disagree. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't need to walk away. You can agree. You can even have an understanding and remain friends, because you have made yourself, put yourself in a weak position for the man to beat you. If you're an achiever and you are pulling your weight and you are adding value to his life, and you are adding, he will not maltreat you. But if he's somebody who has been badly brought up and is a violent person, of course then you walk away. Because you do have some people, no matter what you do, because of their upbringing, they just cannot control themselves. In that case, you cannot wait till you are taken out of the place in a box. Especially if you have children. Some people think they should stay there because of children. In fact, you should make the other decision because of your children, so that wherever you are still able to take care of your children. So when people are making lame excuses, don't take them seriously. It's something that I love. As a child, people who knew me, I've always, my best colors, like I said, if white makes up a color, white and yellow have always been my best choice in a color of whatever I wear. So I've always loved it. And my taking to white also has to do with my title, because I was told that the first, I'm very fastidious. Whatever I do, I research, I want to know more about it. And I was told that the first ERELU, usually we have this 9 days communion we do with each other. It's like, praying every Friday or every Sunday. We every 9 days in my palace, my community, my people will come and we dine and wine together, and if they have any issues, you are able to resolve it for them and all that. And all those times, maybe because it was hot in those days or you didn't have air conditioner, I'm told when she's at home, she wears white, she ties white up to her chest, and she would resolve all issues and all that. But on ceremonial occasion, or in those days when the Portuguese traders used to come and they bring beautiful materials, or there's a reception, she will wear the most beautiful attire in any color. And in those days, I was told velvets were the in thing in those days, and they will use it to come, and even for slave trade, you never knew what they did, in those days, But she will wear the most beautiful attire in any color. So for me, I couldn't afford to sit at home. I have to go out to work and earn a living to be able to take care of the people who depend on me. So I decided to wear the white, but design it in such a way that it's practicable. And that was why I did the ERELU style, the 3-piece that everybody loved and copied. And so those are the reasons. But on special occasions, especially when we have a coronation of a king, although I'm so used to white that I don't even feel comfortable with any other, but on such occasions I would wear something spectacular, or I would make clothes from beads, corals, and those are colors. And I do wear them. If you have to change if you wear your white once, it becomes an expensive pastime. But because you have to wear them over and over, you have to find a way to keep them white, clean, and fresh all the time, which I think I discovered. I love ewedu and chicken stew, and then of course my favorite combination would be either amala or steamed rice. So, and I haven't changed. I still love my ewedu, despite the fact that I have diverse kind of food that I love, both continental and local, but they remain my favorite. There are so many beautiful places in the world that I go to, but the one that when I don't want to bother myself or think about where to go to, I probably just go to South of France, go to Monaco, Monte Carlo, on Nice, just by the waterfront, and because the French food is good, the accommodation is perfect, and the ambience is just relaxing and lovely. So when I don't want to bother, I just go there straight. Having said that, I've since discovered that you can have a beautiful holiday even in Lagos. Lagos at night is beautiful. Just block your mind, go into one of the 5-star hotels where they can pamper you, eat what you want, go to the swimming pool, go to the beach. If I really want to enjoy the sort of thing that I want to enjoy when I'm in South of France, I can do it here in Victoria Island. Try to see Lagos as a holiday destination. It's the most beautiful destination.
It is.
You stay take for instance a hotel. You have the signature, you have different ones. The rooms are clean, the decor is impeccable, the rooms are cool, air conditioned, and then when you want an outdoor, you go to the poolside. But if not, you can go out and go to the beaches around. You can go to the art markets. You can Forget the hustle and bustle of the traffic of the third mainland bridge and all those. Even at night, go for a ride on third mainland. It's just the insecurity of going out at night. Have you seen Lagos at night? When it's beautifully lit, the skylines, the lights, you can be anywhere in the world. It is beautiful. And then I was in Ife the other day, and it's not because I'm now a Yodua, but I went to the Ojaja resort, and at night, the whole place was so beautifully lit. And then you have a lot of greens when you want to walk around. You have the pool. It's just so serene and so peaceful. I think I've got my work cut out for me. There are beautiful holiday destinations here in Nigeria and here in the cosmopolitan city of Lagos. You can have a beautiful holiday. And I think we must look into it. In my case, I've been influenced from very, very early years. As I said, my first awareness of myself as a human being is at the feet of my grandmother at 2 years old. So there's no way such a woman, and she was strong. Her compound was like a whole village, and she had so many staff working for her, importing, exporting food from the north to the south, in fresh, perishable goods, in proteins, in take whatever. She had hundreds of them. And of course, at that time that I knew her, she didn't have a husband anymore. Her husband was dead. Mother of my mom, yes, who had 4 sons and a daughter, and mother was the youngest. She had 4 sons, trained them. They were all achievers. And she was strong and controlling her environment and making money, and she was the one I said went to Hajj. In the days they used camel for almost 3 months. She went and she brought back brass pots and things that you can cook. You can, even human beings can swim, grown adults can swim inside. I have a retinue of strong women in my family that I have unconsciously emulated to believe that a woman can do whatever you want to do, and a woman should be fearless and not be intimidated by anyone, because she can just achieve like anyone. And then of course, as I grew up and as I became older, there are women that I admire, but those who actually that I knew in my formative years, who formed me into what I am today, I had women in my family, starting from my grandmother. My mother was equally strong in her achievements. My aunt was principal of a school while her husband was way in Benin as a medical doctor working, and she was principal of a school, and she was controlling her environment. Yeah. So I grew up amongst very strong, independent women who had made strong impact in my life. Like I always say, I don't give appointment beyond 7 p.m. unless it's a dinner by friends or whatever. So from 7 p.m. I have plenty of time on my hands to do whatever I want to do. Read a book, watch the TV, play music. That's what I do in my good. I love music. And if opportunity arises, I want to dance. So I just do things that make me happy and relaxed and see the beauty of and the grace of the Almighty in my life. Because when I sing, when I dance, most of the time I tend to move towards praising and thanking God for my life, Even when I listen to contemporary music, I still end up, and when I hear some of these songs, they echo in my, for instance, I was at Mass yesterday, and the songs were particularly nice. They are still echoing in my head till today, even as you talk to me. So my needs in life are very simple. Things that give me joy are not too complicated. Well endowed by the Lord, and who is also appreciative of the graces of God that she enjoys or she has enjoyed. And that would be my prayer, and that would be my wish for everybody. Just love one another. Do the good that you can do now, because you may never have the opportunity again. You know, just do the best you can in everything you do. Anywhere you find yourself, do as much good, no matter how difficult. You have to be generous. You cannot hoard. Just do as much good as you can. And how do you do good? You share what you have. You must share yourself, your resources, yourself, to add value to the lives of others. If I am able to achieve that, I will thank God forever. And I will know that I wouldn't have to do too much for him to accept me and take me to where I'll be praising him all the days of my life. You know, not all the day of my life, for all eternity. I doubt if I really have any serious fear, because I leave it all to the Lord. Whatever happens is his wish. So I'm hardly ever afraid. Whatever happens to me is his wish. And because I'm trying so hard, struggling, striving to do his will, he will always protect me. That's my belief, and that's my true belief. So I don't have any fear, really, because all things are in his hands, not anybody. If you're afraid, it's because you believe somebody can, you know. I try my best to please him, and he will always protect me, so I'm not afraid.